Welcome. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Olivia Jackson, and on today's session of Business Today, we'll be joined by a special guest. All the way from Orlando, Florida, we have with us AaronMcGruder, who's a Senior Creative Director at Nike Incorporated. So, thank you for joining us, Aaron. How are you?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm truly honored to be here today.
Our pleasure. We're actually glad to have you here today. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how it is that you got to where you are today?
Well, it really begins from my childhood. Having a strong foundation, having my grandparents and my parents teach me the beliefs and the practices that are good for everyone actually in society. So after high school, when I went to the Marine Corps, I was exposed to a lot of different things, and I was able to realize a lot of my potential. And once I entered into college, there was a course, SLS it was called, and where I was really able to understand what are my strengths, such as communication, my belief system, um, restorative, harmony. So these type of things were able to help me understand, well, how can I use these strengths to benefit me in a career? So when I started looking into going into business, I realized that actually advertising and marketing helped me to use a combination of these things. So I realized that I wanted my purpose to be able to help people understand more about the world of commerce, the world of products and services that will help them increase their quality of life. And to be able to do it in a way so much not as a salesman, but as a representative of truthful and factual information. Being a reliable source that people can trust and that they can rely on to know that they're going to have the best information to make the best decision possible. So with understanding this, it really lined up a lot with my goals and with my strengths. And through this, I was able to narrow it down from just business to business management, all the way down to business marketing and advertising. So that class really helped me to understand what my strengths were, what my values and goals were, and I was able to have a plan and have a purpose and a focus that always kept me anchored to lead me to where I am today.
So it's wonderful that you knew that you wanted to do this at such a young age. But what my audience and I are wondering is, such a position like this doesn't come overnight. So what type of training and education did you have to go through in order to get a position like this?
Yeah, of course. So once I finished my enlistment in the Marine Corps, I did 4 years, got out with an honorable discharge. I moved down here to Florida, and I began my educational career at Valencia College, East Campus, where I received an AA degree in business management. So going there, I believe it was a really successful experience for me. It's a much smaller school, going to a community college first, being able to do those general ed classes, and being able to receive more direct access with my teachers and administrators. So there also I utilized a lot of different components, such as the writing center, which helped me develop my skills as a communicator, which is very important, which is one of my strengths that I wanted to really turn into a tool, an asset that will help me in this career field and in this industry. So once I received my AA degree from Valencia, I transferred over with their Direct Connect program, which they have, which allows students guaranteed acceptance into the University of Central Florida. So when I went to UCF, I was able to obtain my bachelor's degree in business marketing. So with receiving this degree, it placed me in a position that I was able to venture right into marketing and advertising right after finishing school. So I actually graduated cum laude, which is an honor that I'm very proud of, because I know the type of effort that it takes to be able to achieve that type of success. So all together, my degree program only cost me about $19,000. That's because getting out of the military, I had the resource available to me known as the GI program, which is the post 9/11 GI Bill, which is the military's educational funding for military veterans. So all of my schooling was paid for 100% through this program, and I didn't have to pay anything outside of a few parking tickets and some registration fees. So it was relatively an easy experience as far as getting school funding. But there was a assignment that I had to do in this SLS class that I took at Valencia, which was a budgeting project, which helped not only to budget for paying for school, but for living expenses and preparing that there may not be major hindrances while I'm in school, such as lack of having money for gas or food or preparing in case of emergency. And that project really helped me to realize that, wow, even though school is paid for, I really need to think about all these other situations to make sure that I can have the best college experience that I can. So I'm really grateful for that, and that really helped me a lot.
Great. But what the audience and I really want to know is, in 7 years, you managed to get this high priority job at Nike as a senior creative director. But what path actually led you here? Can you please elaborate on that for us?
Well, when I got out, I interned at a lot of different local agencies in Orlando, Remixed, Liquid Eye, Big Reach, and I was able to get an internship with Remixed, and where some of my daily duties included more of like administrative work, so being able to respond to our different customers, our different clients, see what kind of needs or type of updates that they may have wanted to add or ideas they wanted to see put into the ad. More of like managing document types and files and converting forms and figures. So a lot of basic administrative work. And I was there a couple of months, and I felt like it wasn't really progressing. I thought I was ready to start actually doing more of the creative designs, but it wasn't happening that way. So I decided I would apply for some larger companies. And to my surprise, I got a response from Nike, and they called me on, and I began there doing much of the same work that I did at Remixed. But after about 3 or 4 months, I was able to actually work on my first project, which I was really surprised was a women's sneaker line they were coming out with, a women's running shoe. And I remember the shoe was pink and had a black sole. So my first assignment was to come up with a creative design to place it in a magazine ad. So I decided I wanted to have a picture with the lady, the female, the woman runner, in like a jungle, where I wanted to have the shoe kind of a little dirty on the bottom, a little gritty. I wanted the photo to be a little grainy to show that, women in today's generation, they are willing to get a little dirty, a little work a little harder, but still be able to be feminine and to be able to be plush. So with this job, it's all about creativity, but there's a science, there's a method, if you will. So there's a lot of demographic studies, there's a lot of target audience studies and understanding about who is it that you want to sell to. There's a lot of understanding the numbers, understanding what were the percentages of sales in certain areas. Okay, what was the reason of those sales? What is the other products that are related that are selling? So it's a lot of analysis on what's going on in certain demographics in certain areas and how we can appeal a certain product that people may need and how we can have it relate to them. So now being one of the senior creative directors, I have a team of junior directors under me, and we all work together to come up with different ideas. We just got assigned the new women's dry fit line at Nike, so we're really excited about that. And it's been a great experience, and I look forward to the future and to continue to work hard and be an inspiration for people and be able to help others coming up in the generation after me, that they can be able to have opportunities for success as well.
Thank you for sharing your story. It's truly been inspiring to hear that. Thank you for being with us today. And well, folks, thank you for also joining us today on Business Today. I hope that you tune in with us next week for our segment on budgeting for the future. I'm your host, Olivia Jackson, saying thank you.